It's green for go. They're racing.
He says go.
He says ta-da.
And Tiger Tara roars away from them on the home turn.
Here comes another big boil over.
Equine athleticism at its best. The king is in the castle once more.
This is in one race. The rest are almost in another post.
She is a star with a capital S.
It's going to be a triple treat, a miracle three-peat. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed history here at Menangle. What about that?
It's getting right up on the sprint lane and it's going to bolt in.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday session on this Sunday, the 17th of March, St Patrick's Day. So for all the Irish, hope you all have a great day. Speaking of the Irish, it seems timely that I speak today with a Gallagher, being a good, strong Irish name. And after Josh Gallagher drove a double at Menangle on Saturday night, I'll catch up with him on the podcast. My name's Greg Hayes. This podcast is all about harness racing in New South Wales. So if you enjoy your harness racing, the next half hour is all for you. I'm going to talk about everything that's going on in the sport in the state. It's been a huge couple of weeks around the Miracle Mile, and it has been great being around all of the action again. We turn our attention towards Bathurst going forward with the Gold Crown Carnival just around the corner, and I want to wish the boss of Bathurst, Brendan Micallef, all the best with his first Gold Crown coming up. He's got that commerce degree, he's kicking goals there at Bathurst, and he's got a true passion for the sport, which is great to see. Back to today's podcast. I want to speak to Mark Thompson, the owner of Dying Art, that won on Saturday night in the Go Girlfriend final. 7-year-old mare that's now won 4 of her 5 starts. Her career only started this year. She has a 2-year-old on the ground that is about ready to race. So there has to be a good story behind Dying Art. So I'll catch up with Mark Thompson on the podcast. He knows what a good horse is. He put the polish on Jada Rose and, of course, owned Guaranteed as well. So looking forward to speaking with Mark today. Menangle Express will be back. I'll review every race at Menangle on Saturday night. And I know I like to speak with first-time winners on the show, and young Zara Fitzpatrick has made a huge start to her career with a couple of wins already. So congratulations to Zara. I did reach out to Blake to see whether Zara would like to join me for a chat, but at this stage, that would be putting Zara just out of her comfort zone, just a fraction. I know I get that. These young drivers, they can find it awkward speaking to people they've never spoken to before. She's definitely in the right hands with Blake and Lisa, so hopefully Zara continues to kick goals, and hopefully I'll get a chance to catch up with her very, very soon. However, first up, let's get into the podcast today, and today's first guest is Josh Gallagher after his 2 wins at Menangle on Saturday night.
Promised Land's travelling strongly in behind them, just needs to get into some clear air, and peeling out as Doug's Platter being chased along, the rest headed by Rock and Roll Gig. They swing for home, Bullyborn's the leader, but Promised Land is in hot pursuit off its back now, and down the outside Doug's Platter's putting in a big burst. They're clear of He Better Step Aside running on. Here's Doug's Platter sweeping up on the outside. Doug's Platter goes up to quickly join Promised Land and starts to pull right away, and racing in great form, Doug's Platter. Too good. Doug's Platter first. Second home was Promised Land, I reckon, a nose in front of He Better Step Aside.
Big night for Josh Gallagher at Club Menangle on Saturday night with a double. He picked up a win on Doug's Platter in race 2 and then doubled up with I Break the Line in race 3, and he's joining me to have a chat. Congratulations, Josh. Good night last night.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for having me on. Coming out for a better night, and they're both very good horses in their own right.
Let's start with Doug's Platter, who won race number 2 for Kevin Pizzuto. It's been plagued by bad barrier draws for the last few starts, but came up with a good draw, and you're able to give it a good run.
Yeah, no, he's been a good addition to the stable, and he's raced very well in all his runs to date, and it's just good to see him win his last 2 races and show what he can really do.
You're able to find a good spot there last night, got into the 1-1?
Yeah, no, it worked out perfect for us, and we got a good trip in transit, and, went 1:15.3, and, he's just a good horse to drive, and, bigger races coming up, so hopefully he can get us started.
Mate, what did you think turning for home? Like, you obviously you had the right run. You're able to tip out of the 1-1 when you wanted to, but they were running along in front. Did you think that he was going to be able to wind up and get them?
Yeah, look, he's got very good point-to-point speed, and I wasn't really worried. The leader kicked away a bit, and Jack Trainer got out in Promised Land probably a bit too early than what I would have liked him to, and full credit to my bloke. He picked him up and was able to win comfortably.
What is Kevin Pizzuto? Is he a big instructions trainer? Does he, before a race, does he give you a lot of details, or does he basically leave it all up to you?
Well, we sort of have a little bit of a track beforehand, but just mainly up to me, really. He's pretty good that way, and we've got a good relationship as well. So, yeah.
No, it was a good performance last night, and the horse has obviously got a fair bit of ability. A horse that you have had a good association with is I Break the Line, who won in race 3, of course, a Golden Guitar winner at Tamworth, and then just keeps on winning, and last night, impressive again.
Yeah, he just keeps improving, this horse. It's crazy to think as a 2-year-old he struggled to pace. As he's got older, he's just got better and better, and I don't think we've seen the best of him yet.
He seems to like a bit of a dogfight.
Yeah, he's he's very versatile. He can do it tough, or he can do it off the speed, as he did on 2 starts ago at Newcastle, and he can really fight when he wants to, and I think that's his best attribute.
There was a fair bit of speed on early last night, but you were obviously happy to be a part of that, and then was able to roll to the front off Aliberto.
Yeah, well, we got a good second quarter breather in 30, and run the last half in 54, and as you said earlier, it was a dogfight the whole way up the straight, with the outside fighter. I think he likes the dogfight, really. He never stops trying, and it was just too good last night. And
again, when outside fighter sort of loomed halfway up the straight, your bloke, we've mentioned that dogfight, but he seemed to lift. You had to. He was under heavy driving, but he obviously just wanted to find the line.
Yeah, he likes that sort of racing where he can race another horse, and when he's sort of out on his own, he just gets a little bit sidetracked. But he keeps fighting to the line and never gives up.
The Zurubs do a pretty good job with him, because he's really turned into a real little racehorse.
Yeah, they've they only train a small team, but all their horses are very competitive, and they put them in their right races, and they're always 100% on race day, and you got full confidence in them.
So, 2 heat winners. What do you do now with the drive in the final? Do you sit around and wait until the barrier draws come out?
We'll just sit around and wait for the barrier draws, and it's a good problem to have, but it's also a bad problem. You drive these horses all the time, and unfortunately, you can't drive them all.
Mate, I did want to ask you about, give me a minute, in race number 6. Just got tired late, but it ran a good race last night.
Yeah, no, he's been knocking at the door the last couple of rounds, and I was really happy with his run. He's stepping up to the plate, and I think he's not far from a win. Going forward, and if we'll follow Mick Stanley, I think we're in with a good chance. But he followed us into the race and got the good trip, and you can't knock his horse.
Yeah. Mate, during the carnival, you were presented with your colours from the Youth Drivers' Championships that you won up in Queensland. That must have been a big thrill for you.
Yeah, it was a good experience. Racing all the good juniors and concession drivers throughout Australia and New Zealand. It was a good week to be a part of, and to win it was even more special. And get presented the colours on American Mile Night after Leap of Fame won the American Miles. Good privilege, and it was a good night.
Good to see a New South Wales driver win that series, and we've had some very good representatives over the years. Just going back to that series back late last year, how was it driving for, basically picking up drives for trainers that you don't know, and was it an experience that you enjoyed?
Yeah, really good. Especially in a different state, you don't drive a lot for other trainers, and I've driven a couple for Green Dixon, but just to get that drive on the final into the Minion night, and the way it all went down, I had to win, and Angus had to run last to draw level, and it was on a count back, so it all worked in my favour, and it's just something that I'll cherish forever, and memories that for a lifetime, really.
Did you, when you won that final race, did you look back for where Angus was?
Not really. I had a couple of people in the morning say, you can win this series, you've got to run first, and Angus got to run last, and I sort of laughed, and racing doesn't really go to plan, but it all worked out, and the racing gods were in my favour. Thank you. Thank God.
Mate, just quickly with the carnival, a lot of the interstate drivers come in, few of the chances for you to do as many drives as you'd normally do on a Saturday night, they evaporate because of the interstate horses that have travelled up. Now that it's gone back to normal, you'd expect that your Saturday night drives would go back to what we normally see?
Yeah, it's it's good to get a couple drives through the carnival. I drove Doug's Platter in the chariot seats, and he was a bit unlucky. He ran 5th and 6th. But his fractions through the first night were unbelievable, and just to watch these good horses go around through the carnival, it just makes you want to go push harder and try and get on one that can race competitive in the future. So as you seen last Saturday, I had 6 drives and won 2 races, and it's just good to be a part of, and the trainers couldn't thank him enough to put me on and support.
And working for Kerry Ann and Robbie, it's obviously you're very much a team situation there, and they do a lot of buying of young horses during the yearling sales. Exciting time of year, seeing all these babies come into the stable.
Yeah, it's it's a good time of the year, and it's just good to see the future, rising up, and I think Robbie and Kerry Ann, they bought 12 at the yearling sales this year, and a few homebreds as well. So we'll have a big crop of 2-year-olds coming again through next year, and they've been a real good help to me through my career, and I couldn't thank them enough.
Well, mate, you're doing an outstanding job. Congratulations on the night last night at Menangle, and all the best of luck going forward.
Cheers, thank you.
The leader is Dying Art. Maria Alagonda runs to second on the outsiders, trying to cut back the margin, but it's a big margin at that. And Dying Art is holding Maria Alagonda, and Dying Art wins the Go Girlfriend, beats Maria Alagonda, third out wide, Speed Dialer nose to VIN number.
Great story with Dying Art. Lightly raced 7-year-old mare. Mark Thompson is the man who bred the mare and owns the mare, and a good trainer in his own right, back to the days of Jada Rose. And Mark's joining me to have a chat. Congratulations, Mark. Well done.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, no, it was good. It was, like she's only, let's say, lightly raced. It was a step up again last night, and she took it. So, yeah, everything's going great.
So, mate, what's the story? How come this 7-year-old mare's only had the 5 starts?
We got her broken in, and she was a little bit fiery. So it took a while to get her going, and when she got going, we got her running along, and she bowed a tendon. Like she was nearly ready to trial, and she bowed a tendon. So I put her in the paddock, and I had plenty to work, and I just never got back to her. Yeah,
So she had a few years off. You actually sent her to the breeding barn as well.
Yeah, she had. Well, she broke down as a 2-year-old and she never raced until she was 7, so she had 4 or 5 years. So we gave her plenty of time to recover from the tendon. And then, and while she was out the paddock, we were joining a few mares one year, and I said to my wife, Sue, I said, well, we might as well put her in foal as well. She's pretty well bred sort of a filly. So I think her foal's a 2-year-old now, yeah.
And is it showing ability?
Yeah, it shows a bit of ability. It's got really good high speed. It's just got, it'll be named in the next 3 or 4 weeks and hopefully race, in the not too distant future. Yeah.
So how long ago did you go and grab her out of the paddock and think, I'll give her a go?
October last year.
Wow.
Mm.
And the tendon doesn't give her any dramas at all?
No, had no trouble. Sue, she does like that red light therapy and as a treatment, and we just kept doing that. And I used to swim her each day and just work her. I've just worked her normally, for a lot. Like when she came in, she sort of, she had plenty of coverage on her, she had one of those big fat necks and fat over her bum, and it took a fair while to get her down, and then so we just kept. I jogged her for a long time, and then I just started to work her. Then when she was getting close, just set her down to work a few horses with Toddy in Bendigo, and brought her home, worked her at home, and at times were quite good for what she'd done. Took her to the trials at Kyabram, I reckon, the first trial, because that normally, it's you don't meet, the real good horses. So, we went over to Kai. It's a good place for her first trial. She ran second to a nice mare called, what's her name, buddy? Anyway, and we went to the, I went over with Colin Godden from Nanila, and Cole's a trainer, and he said, I'd just go to the races. So we went to the races for a first start at Swan Hill. I didn't have a head check on her. Her hobbles were a little bit long, so she half canted most of that race, and she flew home and ran second. And then the next start, I put a head check on, tightened up the hobbles, and she won by 20 or 30 at Shepparton. Yeah, so that was the start of it. Yeah.
And then she goes to Echuca. Then you take her to the Riverina Paceway. She wins at Wagga. She won that heat of the Go Girlfriend. She, of course, won the final there last night. And you've made the decision then to send her to Jared?
Yes. Yeah. Well, she gets a little bit upset because I suppose she's never been in a barn with horses and that, when I went to Wagga, I was lucky. They let me put her in the outside row, so she was just out, looking at the car park and looking at the road.
Yep.
And when she went out there, because Cole had a couple of horses in earlier in that day, so we had to go, so she would have been there for, 3.5 hours before her race. And when she was in the barn, she started bucking and kicking, and I just asked the lady on the in the office there, and she said, yeah, no worries, put her out the back. So I went out the back, and she went out the back, and she was just looking at the road, looking at the trucks, and nothing to worry. I rang up my wife and said, I've stopped her from kicking. She said, you might have stopped her from running, but she went out and she went pretty good that day. She was wide for a long time early, and then got round to the lead and held him off, Yeah.
So now with Jared, what's he just basically training her out of a paddock, is he? Or has he got her in the stable?
No, he's got her in the stable. He talked to me on Saturday morning, and he told me that there'd be a fair bit of improvement because she was still sort of she'd eat up for a couple of days and then she wouldn't eat up and whatever. And she went from Wagga that day. Jackson Payne took her up for me. He had a couple going to Menangle the next night. He was staying at Jared's. So when we went to Wagga, it was always the plan, if she went good, to go to Menangle and go to Jared, Yeah.
Well, being so lightly raced, there's plenty of options for you guys. You can pick and choose what you want to do with her.
Oh, well, you've got those mares races up there at Menangle each week and that, haven't you? It's and like, well, I think it was the fifth start, and like she's won 30,000. Like you pick up 16 grand last night. Like it's great prize money. Like you can't, if we had gone to Melton, we would have been running for 15 grand, half the prize money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense just to I race like a lot of mine. Like if they go good enough, I take them to Wagga, Wagga or Albury, because you only get a chance to win a race once, and on your way through your classes, so you got to do it, and that's why we set up. Jared's got Pars Guaranteed, Mr. Truth, and Warranty. They're all like ex-horses from here,
Yep.
Yeah.
So how did that relationship start between you and Jared?
Look, I don't know how it started, but I had I rang up. I've got a mate in Canberra, a bloke called Johnny Ryan. Noel Ryan was his father. They were at horses for years, and I went up to Canberra for a few years, and I used to train like a horse out of their stables up there.
Yep.
And he recommended Jared. He said, he's a good young trainer and whatever. So I set up Wheat's End, which was a grey mare 3 or 4 years ago, and she went really good for him. Like won at Menangle, went up and only just got pipped in that real good mares race up at Albion Park. Jared goes up for the winner.
Yep.
And only got pipped, and then I had Par and Mr. Truth in at Melton on a Saturday night, and one was in at 8:30 and one was in at 11 o'clock. So I was driving out of Melton at about 12 o'clock or quarter to 12, and I decided that I didn't really want to do that every week. So the next day, Sunday morning, I got on the phone and still had Jared's number in my phone, and I rang him up and said, mate, could you take a couple of horses for me? And like that Country Cup, Par went up at his second start, won the Cowra Country Cup, and then he ran third in the young one. Then Mr. Truth won the Tamworth one and ran second in the Albury. And it's just great money, and he does a great job. So why wouldn't you send him a horse?
And what about you? You obviously, you've had plenty of great success in your career. I think you've won 3 Group 1s. So you just it's just a bit of a hobby for you, playing around with the horses? Yeah,
it's always. If you ask my wife, it's more than a hobby. For me, it's a hobby. Like Sue, I couldn't do it. Like we work together. Like in the morning, Sue does the boxes and all that sort of stuff. Feeds up overnight. I go and work as a stock agent during the day, and just do the horses. But we've been pretty lucky along the way. Like we've had J Rose Guaranteed and a lot of other really nice horses.
Yeah.
Waterbury Roosters. Wheat's End. All horses that have won 20 plus races. And usually our percentages each year stack up pretty good for starters to winners and place getters. Yeah.
You mentioned Pars Guarantees up with Jared. When he arrived here, he went bang bang and raced really well. Obviously had a little bit of a setback. Is he back in the stable with Jared?
Yep. Yeah, back in the stable. I think he had his first hobble up yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. So he had a bit of a paddock accident. So he had to go out because Jared thought that he would be a really good chance in all those country cups.
Yep.
We just struck a bit of bad luck with him. But if you're in harness race for any amount of time, that's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned Mr. Truth. It's been racing really well.
Oh yeah, Mr. Truth. His nickname's Shifty, and he's got a few different strings to his bow. But when he's on, he's a pretty nice horse. He's got plenty of high speed, and if he gets the right sort of run, I'm sure he's going to be competitive with the better ones. Yeah.
So how many have you got at home at the moment that you're looking after?
I've only got 4 rising 2-year-olds in at the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no, because 2 are down in Bendigo at the moment, down at Toddy. So there's six rising 2-year-olds. So last year, the only reason I brought the mare in that raced last night was we sold. There was a nice 3-year-old called Good Day. Sold him. Sold another, like, he'd won 2 or 3 for us. Royal Appointment, and we sold Guaranteed Secret. And like, my 2-year-olds were sort of in between, preps. So I thought, I looked out the paddock and I had a brainwave idea that we might bring the mare in. And when I walked her in, Sue commented on both our conditions and thought that it wasn't a smart idea to be bringing her back, but we've gone along and got the weight off her, and she's going pretty good.
Well, mate, that was that win last night, as you said, 16 grand in prize money. It is a good story, fantastic, and the fact she's got a 2-year-old about to hit the racetrack is even better. Mate, really well done. Great story. Great to chat with you, and good luck with them going forward.
Thanks very much.
Time for the Menangle Express. Put this segment to bed during the Carnival of Miracles because it was trackside and it takes a fair bit of watching replays, but I was able to watch all of the videos from Saturday night, so let's get into it. Race number 1, favourite was Blazing Home at 3:20, and again he had issues in the score-up. He did something similar at his last start when he gave them a big head start and finished 4th. Saturday night, he had to work extremely hard to try and catch the gate. When the starter said go, there was speed from Golden Bay, Ultimate Bird, Nicholas Cage and Roll with Sloy, which looked to protect the inside, but it was Golden Bay who crossed to the front in front of Ultimate Bird. Roll with Sloy, Shades of Heaven and Better Listen. Running line was Argent Peak, Nicholas Cage, Blazing Home and Celestial Gossip. First quarter, 25-8. They didn't back it off much, 28-1 second quarter. As they approached the cages, Roll with Sloy dropped away, which allowed Blazing Home to dive back to the pegs. Shades of Heaven was able to get around Roll with Sloy. Third quarter, 27-3, and as they turned for home, Golden Bay kicked away. Ultimate Bird was doing its best to hold on. Blazing Home pushed Nicholas Cage out of the way on the turn, got into the clear, worked home well. Shades of Heaven followed it through. Celestial Gossip got to the outside. Golden Bay held on to win from Blazing Home. Not really a punting proposition until it can score up correctly. Celestial Gossip worked home well. For third spot, final quarter, 28-5, slowest of the race. The mile rate was 149.7. Race 2, favourite Doug's Platter at $2.60. Looked to be a race with a bit of speed, and there was. Bully Born and My Ultimate Snowy charged off the gate, but it was Bully Born that was able to hold. So on the pegs, it was Bully Born, Promised Land, Rock and Roll Gig, He Better Step Aside, and Ryan's Gangster. The running line, it was My Ultimate Snowy, Doug's Platter, Small Tees, and Loch Lamond. 26-4 for the first quarter. Leader was able to back it off through the second, 29-4. They pretty much held their position until the turn. Grymick tried to kick away on Bully Born. Doug's Platter tipped and rolled from the 1-1, and He Better Step Aside was able to get to the widest spot on the track as they swung. 27-5 for that third quarter. Bully Born was holding on, but started to tire. Doug's Platter got into its work. Promised Land got into the clear from behind the leader. My Ultimate Snowy had done too much. It was left to Doug's Platter to race away to score. Deserved the win. 27-1 final quarter, 150.4. Promised Land held on for second. He Better Step Aside, finished hard for third. He's going really well at the moment. Ryan's Gangster is ready to win something midweek. Race 3, favourite was Ali Birdo at $3. There was a few here that wanted to get forward. Ali Birdo, I Break the Line, Colonia Courage and Outside Fighter all showed speed. And while Ali Birdo did enough to hold them all, he was happy to release I Break the Line. So I Break the Line led the marker line of Ali Birdo, Our Southern Star and Lochiel. Running line was Colonia Courage, Outside Fighter, Foxy Data and Corby Stumbler. The first quarter was 26-7. Quickly, Outside Fighter made the move from the 1-1 to go and race outside the leader. Donegal Luther galloped prior to all of this and was out of play. Nice breather, 30.1 through the second quarter. And then when Colonia Courage started to tire, it forced Foxy Data and Corby Stumbler to move before they wanted. 27-5 through that third quarter. I Break the Line turned for home first, but couldn't get a break on Outside Fighter. Ali Birdo was still there behind them. Our Southern Star eased to the outside to look for a run. I Break the Line under hard driving, kept on fighting. Corby Stumbler got to the outside, worked home well, but it was I Break the Line that held on. 27-6 final quarter. Outside Fighter, second, only a half head away. It was brave. Corby Stumbler nailed Ali Birdo for third. Good run, the third horse. Had to go before it wanted. Race number 4, favourite here was I'm in Trouble at $1.75. There was some action in this one over the 2,300 metres. Speed early from Freddie Singh. He crossed down. Last Tango in Heaven worked to the outside of Freddie Singh and looked like it might get the front, but No, Freddie Singh didn't want to hand over to it. So I'm in Trouble, who was in the 1-1 at that stage, came out 3 wide, shot across to the front. So it left them basically all on the pegs except for Last Tango in Heaven. It was I'm in Trouble, Freddie Singh, Ideal in Dreams, Talent Agent, Wave the Bill, Saginaw, and It's Ebony and Ivory. I'm in Trouble tried to back the speed right off, and Last Tango in Heaven was easing to try to find a spot on the pegs, but when Morris saw the speed back off as much as it did, he went forward again to try and get the lead as they approached the winning post. When the backmarkers saw this happen, Saginaw came off the inside. It's Ebony and Ivory jumped onto its back. They put so much speed on, they broke the field up. Last Tango in Heaven couldn't get the lead, but it got enough room to go into 3 pegs. Saginaw couldn't get any cover, so it was forced to keep on coming. Lead time fast, 48.7, but they backed it off through the first 2 quarters, 29 and 30.8. Saginaw tied at the cages. That forced McCarthy on It's Ebony and Ivory to make its move and get going to chase I'm in Trouble. 27.8 through the 3rd quarter. Grimer was off for the prize on I'm in Trouble, but It's Ebony and Ivory wouldn't give in. Became a showdown between the two as they raced away from the rest. It's Ebony and Ivory was able to get there right on the line to score. I'm in Trouble was brave. Not a lot from the rest. They were some 12 metres behind the winner. Freddie Singh held on for 3rd. Last Tango in Heaven was good in the circumstances after doing all that work in the lead time. Ideal in Dreams, not racing as well as it was a few months ago. Race number 5, the favourite was Maria Alagonda at $2.30. There was speed galore in the early stages. American Beauty crossing down in front of You Take My Breath Away, but squeezed it up in doing so. You Take My Breath Away quickly came off the inside for the retake. So on the marker pegs, it was You Take My Breath Away, American Beauty, Adrenaline Rush, Savion, VIN number. The running line was More Gooder, Dying Art, Maria Alagonda, Heavenly Bell, Speed Dial. 28.7 the first quarter. Cam Hart produced the race-winning move here when he moved to the chair with Dying Art before the half. 30.9 the second quarter. They ran through the third in 28.4, and it was going to be a sprint up the straight. Speed Dial took off from last. That forced the hand of Maria Alagonda and More Gooder. You Take My Breath Away was beaten at the top of the straight. American Beauty came away from the inside. Dying Art kicked away. Speed Dial made good ground out wide. VIN number got away from the inside and followed the jet stream of Maria Alagonda. Heavenly Bell was probing for runs through the middle. 26.8 up the straight. 152.8 overall. Good run by Dying Art to win. Great drive by Cam Hart, 10 out of 10. Good story with this 7-year-old mare you just heard too with Mark Thompson. Maria Alagonda ran second. They'll have some fun with her, but she's pretty one-dimensional at this stage. Speed Dial fought back to grab third in front of VIN number, and Heavenly Bell is worth following going forward as well. That was a good race. Race number 6, heat 4 of the up to 80. The favourite was Lose Dream at $2.25. It showed speed in the early stages, as did It's Mine on the line, but the favourite was able to kick through and hold the lead. They settled into formation pretty quickly. On the pegs, it was Lose Dream, Magic Moment, Catch a Shooby, Sheffield Sparky and Neptune. The running line was It's Mine on the line, Give Me a Minute, You Betcha Tiger Pie and Rocker Coco. 26.4 for the first quarter with It's Mine on the line racing keenly in the chair. There wasn't much respite. 28.4 through the second. They approached the home turn. It's Mine on the line was beginning to struggle. So Give Me a Minute tipped out of the 1-1. You Betcha Tiger Pie followed it. Lose Dream kicked away on the turn. They ran 27.9 through that third quarter. Few had traffic issues in the straight. Sheffield Sparky ran into dead end after dead end. So too did Catch a Shooby. Neptune didn't have a lot of luck. So in the run to the line, You Betcha Tiger Pie proved too strong off a knife sit for Michael Stanley. 28 seconds home for a 150.7. Rocker Coco got to the outside, grabbed second in a blanket go. Sheffield Sparky third. Never got into the clear at any stage. Big run. Give Me a Minute was fourth, beaten less than 4 metres. Lose Dream was fifth, got attacked in the second quarter. Think he might be better with a sit. Neptune never got a lot of room in the straight, neither did Catch a Shooby, so they both get another chance off that. Race number 7, favourite Mr. Robin Hood at 175. It was Blazing Shannon that crossed down with ease in the early stages. They ran through the first quarter in 26.9. Mr. Robin Hood came off the inside, did the retake, but they were well into the back straight by the time it got there. Only one horse off the pegs, that was Imperial Snapper. Marker pegs, Mr. Robin Hood, Blazing Shannon, Parter Cheval, Sir Richard Lee, Ricochet, Go Away Again, Warranty and Don Lou. 28.6 for the second quarter, so the leader worked. As they approached the half, Warranty grabbed cover off Imperial Snapper. Don Lou came off the inside as well. 29.7 through the third quarter, but the running line couldn't get up near the first 3 horses. So Parter Cheval was able to come off the inside and come around Mr. Robin Hood and Blazing Shannon. Ricochet got to the outside, started to work home well. Mr. Robin Hood was beaten halfway up the straight. Parter Cheval hit the front. They started to close, but it was able to hang on. 27.3, 152.4 win. Ricochet savaged the line. Mr. Robin Hood did too much early, but on face value, a shade disappointing. Don Lou worked home well between runners. Definitely one worth following. Grimer's horses tend to be better when they free roll in front. So interesting to see how far this horse can go for him. Sir Richard Lee was okay up the straight. Race 8, favourite Tuppence, $2.70. This was over the longer trip and only 2 horses showed speed. Danger Zone led before releasing stablemate Major Perry. They went into single file, so behind those 2 it was Tuppence, Dark Terror, Sporty Dancer, Chevron Art, Sahara Sirocco and Double Encounter. Lead time 51.1, which is slow, and as they were leaving the straight, Sahara Sirocco came away from the inside, which gave the card up to Double Encounter. Chevron Art jumped onto their backs as well, 30.8, 29.7, soft enough for the leader. Sahara Sirocco asked a few questions on the home turn. They went 27.1 in that third quarter. Up the straight, Double Encounter peeled for his shot. Chevron Art came wider. Tuppence was able to find room to come between Double Encounter and Major Perry. Major Perry was aided by that picnic in front, held them off in a 27-second final quarter, won in 1:55.9. Tuppence made ground in the straight to grab second. Chevron Art was third. The Blake Fitzpatrick team are flying. Double Encounter got his chance. The veteran was okay, not too much from the rest. Winner of the night, it's Ebony and Ivory for Luke McCarthy. Had to take off earlier than Luke would have liked, and the mare really fought in the straight to grab I'm in Trouble. Her recent form had been sound too. Beaten performance of the night was Blazing Home. It's the obvious one, but the few put up their hands. Not sure you can follow Blazing Home with too much confidence. He's a horse you've got to get your bet ready on your app and wait to see him score up, and when he does, hit send. And best driver of the night, few nominees here. Mick Stanley, great run on You Betcha Tiger Pie. So too Josh Gallagher with Doug's Platter. But I'll go with Cam Hart on Dying Art. Really smart move to get to the chair mid-race, controlled the race from there. So driver of the night, Cam Hart.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Winning.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Winner!
That was legitness.
To that I say, all right. Wow, winning.
Bam! Just like that. That's all there is to it, Dustin. That's all there is to it. A winner! Just like that.
And the winner is...
Everyone last week. Mr. T tipped 2 winners, including a $4.10 winner at Bathurst on Wednesday night. I had one scratched, but the other one won. So I'm back to all square. I'm 0. And Mr. T is at minus $41. So a little bit of a lead, but Mr. T thinks he can cut into it even further. His tour at Bathurst, going to have to be very patient. Race 8, number 3, Hunter Shannon for Peter and Travis Bullock. Third run back from a spell, hasn't been beaten far at either run, so expecting a good showing with Hunter Shannon from the good draw. That's race 8, number 3. And race 9, number 9, Mick Danger for Brad Hewitt, making the trip to Bathurst on Wednesday after winning at Goulburn back on March 11. Ran good time on that occasion, and despite the inside of the second row, Mr. T thinks it should take some beating. So that's race number 9. Race 9, number 9, Mick Danger. My 2, I'll go to Menangle on Tuesday. Race 4, number 3, Cause and Drama. First up from a break, went to the paddock on a winning note. Has been good in recent trials, sat behind the leader, wasn't knocked about in the straight at its most recent trial when beaten ahead. It's got the good draw, possesses good gate speed, and I'd expect it to be prominent first up for David Thorne and Jack Trainer. Race 4, number 3, Cause and Drama. And race 7, number 6, American Hammer. Buried on the pegs last time out, but made up good ground in a very fast run race. My only concern is that the final quarter was slow and they all looked out on their feet. American Hammer did win at Melton 4 starts ago when it led, so hoping it can sit a bit closer to the speed this time out in a race that doesn't look too strong. Maybe it can get back into the winners list. Race 7, number 6, American Hammer. In fantasy harness racing, Champo 71 lead has been cut to just 21 points. So Champo 71 is 12,540. Mays is second on 12,519. Manning 1990 isn't too far away either on 12,389. I dropped back to 86th. Not a good week for me. Speaking of the week, it was round 16 and the winner was Harolumbus again with 820. Tug Talon was second with 817 and Rooster 10 was third with 807. Cam Hart is now a $3 million man as his price went up again. He looks the obvious captain choice again this week. I'm off to the Canberra Cup on Sunday night. The club have asked me to come down and do a few on-track interviews and also run the punters club, so I've got a bit of form to do before making the trip to my old hometown. And good to see Harness Racing New South Wales make the announcement of who's playing at the Goulburn Carnival of Cups during the week. That will be a big one. The Baby Animals, also going to hear from the Screaming Jets and Alex Lloyd, Robbie Mortimer back to be on the lineup as well. So looking forward to that one. Have a great week. Big thank you to Mark Thompson and Josh Gallagher for joining me on the show again. I know a lot of people would have been expecting me to speak with Zara Fitzpatrick after the start to her career. I did reach out, but she just isn't ready to be doing interviews, which I totally get. She's only 16. Her first 2 drives were winners, and she's got a big, big future in front of her. Anyway, have a great week, and I'll catch you again next week for another episode of the Sunday Session.